I'm Cliff, and this is my garage. Today, we're going to talk about removing the front bumper off the Cayman. Hey, welcome back to the garage. And if this is your first time joining me, thanks for dropping by. Now, I've had to remove the front bumper off the Cayman multiple times, and I gotta admit, the first time it was a real bear to figure out exactly how to go about doing it. I'm having to do it again in order to install a new front splitter and air dam, and so I thought I'd take a moment to go ahead and show y'all exactly how I do it. I've already taken care of a few things. For instance, I've already removed the headlights out of the fender. And if you don't know how to do that, it's really very simple. I just did a video on how to remove the Cayman's headlights, and I'll give you a link up in that corner over there. I've also removed the front side marker lights, and there are a lot of videos on YouTube showing you how to remove those side marker lights. Unfortunately, most of them show you how to do it wrong in a way that's there's a good chance you're going to damage your front side marker lights if you do it the way they show it. So if you want a video that shows you the correct way to do it where you won't screw up your side marker lights, I'll give you the link to my video, again, up in that corner over there. Now, I've also gone ahead and removed the dive planes or canards that are normally here on the front side of the bumper cover. That's what these embedded connectors are for. Oh, I just want to go ahead and get those out of the way so that I'm not running into them all the time. In my case, step one is to remove the tow hook. And if you have a tow hook installed, remove it first. At least in my case, I can't tell you how many times I've completely loosened everything here on the bumper. It's ready to come off, and I'm pulling and tugging on it, and it's not coming off. And I'm thinking, what's wrong here? And then I realize, yeah, dummy, you forgot the tow hook again. Now, I have this very nice foldable tow hook. If you'd like one of these, I'll give you a link to the one at Flat 6 Motorsports down in the video description below. I love this thing. It's just great quality. If you need a set of nice, inexpensive Allen wrenches, I'll give you a link to the ones that I use. They're great. The case they come in is just so handy. It keeps them organized, and it's easy to get them in and out. These are from M-Power. I'll give you a link to the ones I use off of Amazon in the video description below. So it's going to set the Allen wrench here. I was going to give it a pop with this dead blow hammer. If you're not familiar with dead blow hammers, this is something that's super handy to have around. The head of this is filled with like a steel shot, and so when you hit it, the steel shot inside compresses and rebounds. The hammer itself doesn't. So it doesn't bounce back. It's very easy to control. Of course, since it's got this rubbery plastic that it's made out of, there's no danger of sparks. One of the best tools I've got around. I'll give you a link. I don't think they sell this exact one anymore, but I'll give you a link to basically the exact same one, but it's in orange. Get this set in there. Just give it a little pop, and it's loose. Okay, out of the way. Now we're up underneath the car, and we're going to remove 5 screws from each side of the car. And some of them are holding on this brake duct and fender well liner. Others are holding on the bumper itself. But as long as we're in here, let's just cut loose all 5 of them. And you're going to find a mix of T25 and T27 bolts under here. They're basically interchangeable in these holes, so I don't necessarily know which ones are which anymore, and they've gotten all mixed around. 1, 2, that was actually a 27, I think, but the 25 is close enough. 3, and there are 2 of them. One is here on this corner, and the other one is up inside this little hole here. And I've got an extra washer on there because of some damage that the bumper took in an accident last year. Okay, we've got everything loose into this corner. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And there's also one torque screw located right here in the middle. Make sure you don't forget that. Now that I've remembered to put my work gloves back on, let me throw my usual plug for Pug brand work gloves. These things are absolutely fantastic. I've been using them for years. I love them. The back is a nice open mesh so your hands don't sweat to death, but your palms and the fingers are all rubber coated. It gives you great grip. They're nice and thin so you don't lose your sense of touch. They last forever, and even with all the price increases lately in this economy, they're still only like $1.50 a pair. I'll give you a link in the video description below. Trust me, you're gonna love them. So back here in the fender well, we need to remove 4 screws. There's 1, 2 up here at the top, and then a pair of them here kind of in the middle on the other side of this vent. Dropped that one. And now it's just a bunch of pulling and finagling to get these things out of here. Now it is a bit of a pain, something you're going to want to watch out for. When you put this back in, this crossbar here goes into this thing, this recess here, and then this lip here goes outside of this duct. So it's kind of a pain when you're putting it back in to get it lined up. Just keep working at it and keep in mind that this lip here has to go inside of this flange right here. Next, we need to get the wiring harness loose, and this is on both sides of the car. This connector is very non-obvious how this thing comes apart. And it's really hard to get you a view of this, but not this slot, but there's one, it's hard to see. It's right here at the end. This little tab poking up here. You just put a screwdriver in there, pull it, and you can kind of hear, if you listen carefully, you can hear it snap. And when it does that, that comes right off. Just show that to you again. There's the slot where you want to put this in, and you're pulling this tab back. So, again, you put it in there, pull until the little click, and then it comes right off. Now, the last thing we need to get apart is this line here, and this is the feed for the headlight washers. Of course, if you don't have headlight washers, then you're not going to have this line. This is only on one side. This is only on the left-hand side. At least I presume it is, even on a right-hand drive car. On this one, left-hand drive car, it's on the left side of the car. And you can kind of see how this clip bends or goes around here and holds everything together. So just take your same screwdriver, slide it in behind that tab, and just pop it straight off, and it comes loose. Now, I have seen people remove these things, and a bunch of fluid starts gushing out as it drains. I'm not sure whether this on the 987.2 is a different design that stops that, or if I'm just not getting fluid here. I don't know what. I've owned this car for going on 2 years. I've never used the headlight washers, so I really can't say anything about them. But this is now loose. I almost forgot one other screw that needs to be removed, one on each side of the car, and it's hidden. It's another torque screw. It's hidden up here, kind of like behind where the side marker light goes. So here we are in the front trunk, and we need to remove these pieces of trim here. Now, in my car, since it's a track car, I normally have all this stripped out, but I went and dug the pieces out and put them back in so that I can show you what you're going to have to do on your car to get at the fasteners that are under here. Just start by pulling these up. They're kind of held on by Velcro, and then there's a tab that sticks into this piece and attaches it together. Same thing on this side. And then this whole thing just pulls up, and you have to take and move the handle here over to work this off of here. All right, there we go. And now we remove the 3 T25 torque screws here in the front. So we're down to the last couple of fasteners. Unfortunately, those couple of fasteners had the potential to turn this job into one of the worst days of your life. And if you look under here, you'll find that there was a small piece of plastic, like a long, I don't know how to describe it. I'll try and get a picture of it. But it goes through a slot in the frame, and then one of these clips slides onto that thing and locks this part of the bumper to the frame solidly. And when this clip comes off easily, it's no problem. However, in my experience, this little tab right there, that thing has a tendency to catch on a little seam that's hidden under here. And in that case, the stupid thing will not move. And it just becomes a nightmare to try and get it loose. Now, the first time I took this bumper off, that's what happened to me. And I spent literally hours trying to get this stupid clip loose. I ended up having to get up under here with a little tiny screwdriver and try and get hold of this and pop it loose, and eventually just ended up basically destroying this clip, getting it out. And I replaced it, and the second time that I took and removed this bumper, I ended up destroying this clip again. The other side came loose just fine. This side was the pain. In fact, I ended up just buying like a half a dozen of the clips just to have them on hand. However, what I do now is if I'm getting ready to put a new one in, I'll take and get hold of that clip get hold of that little tab with a pair of needle nose pliers. Just break that thing off of there. And now it can't get hung up on there. It still works perfectly fine. It holds this with no problems, but it can no longer get jammed. Now, the way this thing fits in here, this big loop here, this big loop right there, it goes to the outside of the car. This whole thing is like this, and it's sliding in. So you're going to reach in here on the outside, and you're going to put your finger on there, and you're going to push this tab or push this thing out, assuming that it doesn't get caught. Now, this one's been broken off, so it shouldn't catch. And in fact, there it comes. I need to get hold of it with the pliers and finish pulling it out. There it is. Same thing with the other side. I'm going to reach in here on the back side, find that big loop, and just push it outward. And once it's there, get hold of it with the pliers, wiggle and pull. There we go. Now you can see that that's come loose. Okay, now assume that I haven't missed any fasteners. This should slide right off. Now when you're pulling this off, make sure to be checking the two sides. Make sure you're not getting any wiring hung up and you're pulling on something that shouldn't be pulled on. So just kind of like take and get hold of it. And do note that I didn't remove these front splitters or any of the lights or grills. None of that needs to be removed to pull the bumper cover off. It all comes with the bumper cover. So just take it, just wiggle, and slowly take it loose. And there we go. All done. Oh, that wasn't bad, now was it? I mean, in all honesty, those clip things are hands down the worst part of this job. And if you're lucky and they don't jam, well, then you're golden. And putting it back together is very straightforward. It's just the reverse of everything that we did. The one difficult spot can be those clips. They can be kind of hard to get started because it's a very tight fit over that little plastic piece that goes through this slot. And what I generally do is if I just can't get it on there with just hand pressure, I'll get it lined up and get like a screwdriver or a punch on the end of it and use a dead blow hammer to kind of tap it on and get it started. And that usually takes care of it, no problem. Now, before you go, please go down there, smack that thumbs up button, give me a like on this video, let YouTube know that you found it valuable, that you enjoyed it. And while you're down there, if you're not one of my subscribers, go ahead and click on that big shiny red subscribe button. Liking the video, becoming a subscriber, both of those are completely free and they really, really help me with growing the channel. And finally, if you want to be kept up to date on everything I'm doing here in the garage, including the Cayman track car, my track day adventures, tool reviews, equipment reviews, all that kind of stuff, go click on that bell icon. That turns on notifications for this channel, and that way YouTube will let you know every time that I post something new from here in Cliff's Garage. I'll see you next time.